Back everyone to the Working Class Revolt. So a couple of days ago we did a story showing how the far left and the Liberal Democrats was putting pressure on BBC, Sky News and other mainstream news channels to silence Reform UK. Well, we've had more developments now leading on from that story. So you may recall that one of the incidences was that Sky News had been streaming directly from the Reform UK stream to press conferences held by Reform and Nigel Farage. Well, an organisation, what classes itself as a research organisation, Best of Britain, another far left movement, decided that it was going to start a campaign up to put pressure on Sky News to stop it doing this anymore. So altogether, it got 5,000 people to complain through the Best of Britain and then send them on to Sky News saying that it was giving Reform UK and Farage far too much airtime. Now, 5,000 people is pathetic. Let's be honest. In times now where we see with Ofcom, hundreds of thousands of people complain, millions of people sign petitions, to only get 5,000 people shows that even the left wing, the majority of people from centre to left, have a bit of common sense and aren't going to go making complaints because a mainstream news is simply airing a press conference by Reform UK. So they managed to get 5,000 people. You would think that Sky News simply brushed this off. Well, like I would have thought, you'd be wrong. Sky News has put out a statement and has changed the way it will now air Reform UK. So instead of directly sharing the live stream from Reform, nice and easy, to the point. Remember, Reform UK is now the most popular political party in the country, with 10% more in the opinion polls than the current Labour government. Well, now it won't do the live stream, it will only re-record it itself, and it will always have a government minister on to commentate on the press conference, like a fact checker. Now, on its own, having an opposite voice coming on, I don't have a problem with. I think that should actually be done. Whoever makes a political statement, you should have somebody from the other side to give a balanced opinion. The bit with the directly streaming from Reform, again, is absolutely ludicrous. It's pathetic. But the biggest problem we have here is that a mainstream global news channel is backing down to 5,000 people. We've seen this with big multi-billion pound companies. We've seen it with all the news channels. They are frightened to death of the left wing. They're frightened of being cancelled. And on this occasion, it seems like such a little amount of people can change the way Sky News operate. We know that Ed Davey has been meeting with the BBC, trying to stop the BBC giving coverage to Reform UK, because everybody can see what you and I can see, that in 2029 we will have a new Prime Minister who's called Nigel Farage. But think about this. If you are now part of one of these organisations, Best of Britain, Hope Not Hate, Just Stop Oil, these radical extremist left-wingers who hate Nigel Farage so much they will do anything to stop him getting in power, Sky News has just given you a green light that you can silence Farage so easy. With only 5,000 people managing to do it, it will give greater confidence to these movements. We will soon see it on every news channel. We'll soon see fact checkers every time Nigel Farage speaks. And then we will just simply see news channels stop airing Farage at all. Because let's be honest, they don't want to do it now. But Farage, compared to the other political parties, is box office, and they're losing so many views to independent YouTube channels. Even a tiny channel like this sometimes gets more views on a YouTube video than the BBC does. They are a dying brand, so they are desperate. So that is why they're airing Nigel Farage in the first place. But we saw it with Donald Trump during the American election. we started to see CNN and other news channels on the left simply cut Donald Trump out whenever he was making a speech. And what they would say was, well, he's lying, so we're not going to wear it. And that's what I'm afraid we're going to start seeing with Nigel Farage. Now, the most sceptical people could actually say that the mainstream media are in on this. They know they're going to get some complaints, and then gives them the excuse to start changing the way they treat Reform UK, saying that they're simply listening to the viewers. In the statement, they actually thank the 5,000 people for reminding them how they should operate. So we know that Sky News, the BBC, Channel 4, ITV, the rest of them, bar GB News and Talk TV, know that their audience doesn't come from the likes of me and you. So they will have no problem at all in silencing Nigel Farage or anybody else who they see as right wing, in order to keep that base happy. The Best of Britain, an organisation that is fueled with hatred for anything that is not left wing, it seems to only exist to basically say that Brexit has ended our country and try to reverse Brexit. So you can imagine how much that hates Nigel Farage. And with tens and tens, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people following its organisation, again, the fact it got 5,000 people shows that there isn't really anger in erring Nigel Farage. Sky News should have simply blown it off. Please let me know what you think. Do you think that the mainstream media are simply overreacting, or do you think that they might secretly be in this plot to silence Reform UK and Nigel Farage? Thank you all for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.